All right, Hillman fam, what's going on? What's going on? How you doing, Nick? What's going on?
Hey Ray. I'm good. I'm good. I relocated. I'm in a different area this week. This empty house is not really rocking out with us recording, but I'm here for it. I'm good. I'm excited about this episode. I'm excited to talk about, some of the things we want to discuss here. How you doing? How was your day?
Um, I'm good. I'm okay. I want to say, before we get started and all the excitement, before we kind of do that, I just want to pay tribute, to some of the people from the past. We had a gentleman, a great gentleman, a historian. This man was like a legend in music. Doctor, Michael DeQueer, he passed away yesterday, on the 10th. Great guy, man, great band director, great musician, great friend, great father, great husband. Like he was definitely just one of them people that, you just meet somebody, you like, man, you gotta like them. You know what I mean? If somebody was like, man, I
Mhm.
don't like that, it's like then you the problem. Like this is one of those type of people. So I just, you know, rest well, good friend. I think he was just ultimately a great guy from the top to the bottom, and we don't have a lot of that these days. So, you know, that's probably that's probably one of the biggest newses I've gotten in just a little while. But we moving. The best thing you can do by respecting somebody that's passed on is by living, living the best way you possibly can, right?
Mhm.
So just wanted to shout that out before we get this thing started, and talk about this episode. How are you feeling first before we get into this monumental episode? How are you feeling?
I mean, by the time this episode comes out, I will have my own legacy. So I'm excited to talk about, some traditions and homecomings going on. As far as my feels, I'm low-key exhausted. I'm like mad tired. I have a lot going on. So I'm thankful that I can have, this hour and a half to talk to my brother every week and just like shoot the breeze and talk about, the 80s and the 90s. It's like a highlight of a very busy work week.
You work hard, we play hard. That's how it goes,
I'm not playing
It
too
don't
hard
even
these days, but in a couple of weeks, when I get some more time, I'm gonna sleep hard and then I'm gonna play hard after that.
so that goes into what we have to talk about, right? Because a lot of people, a lot of alum, a lot of people that have been to PWIs and been to HBCUs, they work hard, right? And
Hmm.
they make sure they grind it out so they can take that weekend for homecoming. So go back to their
Thanks.
school, they take the time off, right? And they just really go in. Like it's just like that's just what they really do. They like, man, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna do the things I need to do. But before we get into, HBCU, PWI, homecomings, what makes those situations even better is when you do have a legacy, right? Or you come from a legacy. Everybody doesn't, you know.
Right.
Hopefully, I've been a person that is starting that type of situation with my daughter. We got, shout out to Gabby. Gabby, she is fulfilling that legacy
Hmm.
situation with you. You know,
Hmm.
so that's like something super dope because mom's setting the trend to say, look, this is how you're supposed to do it. This is the way, and you
Yeah.
raise a child up to go in the right way. And I feel like, shout out to you for doing that, and allowing like Gabby in school is just like she's been a light. I can say that for sure, and
Thank you.
hopefully, with the way Aaliyah's rocking, she actually sent me something today. All 100s, literally, like every single grade was
That's what's
100.
up. Oh, I love
I was,
that. Oh, I gotta get her
I was,
something.
but that's because she won a Sheen card, and so she like, let me show him what I'm putting in this work,
A
so
Sheen
I can kind
card? Like clothes from
of
Sheen?
for clothes from Shein. Like that's like a thing for the girls these days, right? But she asked for it. I was like, girl, the Shein card. And she showed me them grades. And I was like, oh, you trying to show me that you earned it. I get it. I get it. And I'm one of those people that if you handling your business, I got you. So it's not that big of a deal, So we like our children are doing what they need to do and they're following in the traditions to be great. And you have a literal legacy, right?
I know, it's
And
crazy.
right. No, no, definitely shout out, man. Shout
It's
out
crazy.
Delta Sigma Theta, Sorority Incorporated,
I was
and
gonna get
allowing these
there a
young
little
ladies.
bit later. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna
Yeah,
build up the
it's
plot,
legacy.
but it is, this is a legacy episode. On this episode, episode 7,
It's a
Grandpa comes to visit, right? And I think I
and
forgot.
grandpa's alone.
Yeah, I forgot that he went there. So she's like a third generation.
You know? Yeah, well, did did her dad go
They
to
met
Hillman?
there. Yes, their mom and dad
Okay.
went there. Yeah, because remember her dad
So
was on the track team.
big that's a big legacy situation, right? And
My
what's
grandparents didn't go to
crazy.
college.
Neither did mine. My parents did for a little bit here and there, but it wasn't like a HBCU situation. So like
Mm.
my dad went to college for a little while, my mom as well. Um, it's crazy because I've met people who have that thing, right? There's one of my friends, he's one of my frat brothers, Amir Henry, humongous
Oh, I know
history.
him. Yeah.
AUC. Dad went to Morehouse. Uncle went to Morehouse. Mom, aunt, grandfather, they went to Clark Atlanta, Clark College. They went to
Hmm.
there. They have that AUC. His sister is at Clark Atlanta University. Brother graduated from Clark Atlanta University. He graduated Clark Atlanta University. Like they have that. So it's
Yeah.
like that's a lot on the shoulders of their kids. It's like
Yeah.
when they have
There's a
it's
baby
like,
who crossed Sigma chapter last fall, not this fall, but fall 23. She's like a sixth generation Sigma chapter soror. Six generations have
yeah,
come through, and all of them were there. And I have a line sister. She went to HU, you my line sister. She went to CAU. She's like a fifth generation Delta. Like there's five
right.
generations back of women who went to college. We didn't have
That's
that. My one side of my family, my dad's parents, they didn't even have running water until 1995. They didn't go to college. They're great. They're wonderful. They're amazing. I love them. I adore them, especially my grandma. I talk to my grandma every day in college, but they just didn't go to
right.
college. Everybody went to the military. All the men in my family
Yeah.
went to the military.
And that's like a thing. Like in my family, um, my dad's brothers, they did the military thing.
Hmm.
I have some cousins, they're Sigmas, they went to Benedict, college. Shout out to them, what I mean, my cousin Lewis and Derek and them. They kind of did their thing in that aspect, and they built up that legacy, which is dope. But just as far as my like immediate, nah, they didn't. And like my dad, like I said, my dad went to college. He went to college for religion for a little while, and my mom for accounting.
Hmm.
But it wasn't like that HBCU graduate and I'm there. My brothers is now going, and my daughter's gonna go. It wasn't that type of situation,
Okay, but
but
your daughter is in the band and she's planning to go to college. Would you want her
right.
to go to
That's
Clark?
She wants to go to Clark Atlanta. You know what I mean? She wants to do.
Hmm.
I am for this is my thing. What scholarship are you gonna have? With these
Facts.
grades, go to
Hmm.
Clark Atlanta. If you keeping these straight A's all the way through college, I mean all the way through high school, go. Because you're gonna get that academic scholarship because dad ain't rich. And in 2025, college costs more than my house. So
Hey, I mean, when you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, when you're right.
we
When
got
Gabrielle
especially
graduated, HBCUs are expensive. They're expensive. My kid got
the
accepted to a
academic.
bunch of HBCUs. Like you gotta have scholarships. I told her from a very young age I was not paying for college, and I have not had to. She's
And
going to her junior year.
it's worth it. You know what I mean? I can say that it's
Yeah.
worth it, but put work. Don't go to any college to leave in debt. Like put in the work in high school so they'll pay for it. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that's the thing. Allow them to pay for your education so you can mold the world, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think in this episode, it was definitely a big legacy situation. They were there for homecoming. Did y'all have the school you went to? Did y'all have like a mascot that was an animal, or did y'all have like a person in a costume?
We had both. We had both. So we had
What was the
it was a man with a bulldog head. You've never seen him? I can't
and
think of
y'all
his
had an actual
name. We had both. Our
oh,
bulldog,
'cause you was University of Georgia. So y'all actually have
right.
like the dog? You
Yeah.
have the
And he has
bulldog?
an air conditioner like bulldog. Like his dog house has AC in it. And it
Yeah,
travels
see,
around.
like
And he's a legacy. Our bulldog is a legacy. So he only breeds from one particular family all the way back in time. It's the same gene, same son, same whatever, same family of bulldogs there.
it sounds like incest, but whatever.
But
You know,
homecoming at UGA wasn't really, I didn't go to a real homecoming until I was at Clark. Homecoming to UGA, nobody goes to the games. We usually play somebody real bad. It's really easy to get tickets to the game. It's empty stadium. I just
and look,
homecoming in undergrad wasn't that great. But as a graduate, we have a quad. We have a quad called Myers Quad. It's named after a black alum, and all the black folks come to Myers Quad now. But in undergrad, I mean, it wasn't a big thing back then.
so I want to say, everybody talks about how their homecoming is the best homecoming, right? I've heard stories about FAMU's homecoming. I went to Howard's homecoming and it was dope, but it just like rains every year. Like I went there one year and it was like people were prepared for it. It was like all the alum was just like, and the umbrellas was out and I'm in a hoodie looking like, what's about to happen? They're like, oh, every year it rains. It's not a big deal, right?
Not a big
It
deal.
that doesn't happen every year at Clark Atlanta. Like our homecoming is like it's different, man. Like I can honestly say, yeah, the last couple of years has changed a little bit, but it's always lit, man. It's always a memory. It's always you know, is you can say the illustrious Clark Atlanta University because our
What makes it
homecomings
lit
are
though? I mean, share with the audience what
like
do you mean by that?
okay,
Like what's been
so
happening?
so first, everybody comes back. And when they come back, it's always you have the stories from the past, the old and the new come together. All the organizations have their tents, this past year, shout out to the football team. The football team really showed us like real pride. They came
Mhm.
through, Coach
So they didn't
Keaton really
come just to
like came,
watch the band. They like came to see the
like
whole game.
they believe it or not, like Coach Keaton had us watching that game, right? And then the
That's what's up.
band come on, and the band was like, "Let me show you what's up." Like that camaraderie between the band and the football team has never been
Hmm.
like that at Clark Atlanta, right? We've always had like little pockets of people that we was cool with, but this year it was like the football team and the band and the cheerleaders we was we was one. I'm talking about it was on some stuff like we had every game whether we was cheering that junk on, we was dapping the coach up, we was like, yo, players, we about to do this. Let's get to it. Like we was riding for the season and the team was riding for us. Like even when it comes to social media, like they really show a lot of love and we show that love back. And then it trickled on to basketball season to where our basketball team, a lot of love. Like this year, I can say between the season and homecoming
Hmm.
and going into basketball season and stuff like that, we have been a real HBCU family. Like from top to bottom, we've been rocking. Everybody's been hitting what they need to hit and doing their job how they need to do it. And the band has just been nonstop. The band is
That's
like when
what's
I
up.
tell you, them kids have been going out there and getting to it, and it's been a real rivalry. Like, and then
Who
shout
is the
out to the
rivalry?
do y'all have a all right, of course you got Clark Atlanta versus Morehouse. You know,
Okay.
that game is like homecoming. That's like the next homecoming, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, do y'all have like do y'all got spirit boosters? Clark Atlanta spirit boosters is like undefeated. They like
What does that mean?
Clark Atlanta Spirit Boosters will come to your school while we playing you, and you would think that it was Clark Atlanta. Like I'm talking about, they be hyped up. They got songs. They could make a record if they wanted to. Like they really
Are
be
you saying that
on
there
it.
are Clark fans that come to the game that are like hyping
They,
up the
they
crowd?
are there are students that are specifically there to hype the crowd. They there to hype the crowd. They are there to cheer on the team, and they when I tell you they come together. If
Yeah,
you
UGA got people
if
like
you
that. They dress up,
like
paint
when
their
I
face, they got synchronous things, and they get the crowd hype. for sure.
Right, yeah, yeah, no, no, no. We're not painting the face, but they are hyped up. The songs be like legit. The next, like
Yeah.
swag surfing, like they be on it. They'll change somebody else's song and turn it up.
Okay, I
Like
might have to
they
come
our
to a
spirit,
game this year. They're
they was
called
doing some
Spirit
things.
Boosters.
They're spirit boosters. Yeah,
That's what they're
yeah.
called, though.
Sit
Okay.
in- they're called spirit boosters. They literally sit next to the band.
Okay.
It's pretty dope.
So at
It's pretty dope.
Georgia, we have two rivals too. Like I got Morehouse. We got Florida and we got Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech's obviously our in-state rival. We play them every, Saturday after Thanksgiving. But
Word.
Florida, we play them at a neutral site, but still always in Florida, it's in Jackson. And they used to come to our
That
campus.
doesn't sound
It's
neutral at
ridiculous
all.
at all. But they come to our campus. We have like a car, and for fundraisers, you beat up the car, hit it with a bat, do whatever you want to do to the car. They would come to our campus and trash our campus every year before their game.
I,
They'd pass the
I'm
site
not
just to
even
come to
gonna lie.
Athens and
That
go
trash
back.
in the car thing, that thing kind of lit at PWIs. I be
Oh
seeing
yeah,
that.
that's fun.
In
We
my
paint the
head,
car whatever the colors it is.
I'm not taking no cash car and I'm smashing it. You know what I mean? But it
It's
be
for a
lit how they do it.
fundraiser. It'd be a
No,
fundraiser.
that's cute.
So, you pay something, get a bat.
HBCU. We be
But
needing
they would
rides at
come.
HBCUs.
What you need, you need a ride. They
You
don't
know,
work. The cars don't work.
I went to when I graduated from high school, one of my homeboys went to University of Connecticut. He went to UConn. And
Hmm.
we went up there to visit him. And I felt like it was either right before homecoming or it was right before spring break or something like that. And they have this thing called the X lot. And you would have thought that thing was homecoming. Everybody, UConn is like a town. And
Hmm.
everybody in one parking lot. And if you parked your car in that parking lot, they like flip your car over, throw cans and stuff. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing I ever seen in my life because I was like, we've never had that at an HBCU. And I wouldn't want that. It sounds dangerous, but
So,
I
so
probably, as
guests
a
park
young
in the
kid,
parking
that's
lot.
all the stuff I've ever had. Huh?
Guests park in that parking lot and they get their cars flipped.
No, when I went to the parking lot was empty because it's spring break,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
guessing, or it's like
Hmm.
close to spring break. So the parking lot was empty, but there was like a couple cars next to the parking lot. And I saw a car flip, and they was just kind of like for it. They didn't care. This was like, early 2000s. And I was just like, man, this is wild, but I'm gonna take my talents to the South, and I went to Benedict.
Okay.
But
So at
it was
UGA, every
definitely, it was
homecoming, I
definitely.
mean, every home game, we'd have a party. We had this thing called Dog Days on campus. Every single home game, Friday night is Dog Days. They give you free movies. We had like this oxygen bar. We had a carnival. We do all types of crazy stuff for the campus every single Friday, and everything's free. So everybody comes in for that. And on game days, you can't park on
Okay,
campus. Yeah, it was free for students. And they have like Build-A-Bear sessions, all types of like really fun stuff. But you also couldn't park in the parking deck.
okay.
If you parked in the parking deck the Friday night before the game, your car is definitely getting towed. You have to move it the night
I
before
was say they're gonna have you jacked up. No, I get it. That's
at
that's what's
all.
up.
They tailgate.
Okay, so now here's a question, right? Did y'all like steal the other schools like mascot? Like, did y'all like kidnap their mascot person and they animal? Like y'all did stuff like that? PWIs do that.
Not that I'm aware of. I've heard stories of LSU's tire getting stolen a few times, and it
They
got
have like
stolen
a
so
real
many
tiger,
times. Yeah, they have
or
a.
it's like
I don't think
a
they have it anymore. No, a real tiger. A real tiger got stole multiple times. So I don't think they have one anymore, or
what
you don't have
the heck?
access to it. Yeah, and
Sheesh.
Florida
They
had a real
still,
gator.
yeah, see, I'm not stealing no gator. Yo,
Florida
you
had a real
safe,
gator.
Mr. Gator.
I don't think
You
our
real
dog has
safe,
ever
Mr.
been stole. The bulldog, I don't think it's ever been stole. I'd have to look it up.
No, I know Georgia Tech. When I was in college, I knew this guy that he went to Georgia Tech, and he used to say that like they would he I can't remember what he used to steal. Like it was a certain school. I felt like the school's mascot was like a turtle, and they would like steal the turtle and like
At
legit
Georgia
like
Tech,
take pictures. Yeah, it was like Georgia Tech. They would steal this turtle from whatever school that it's from, and they would like take pictures and like send it. You know what I mean? Send it back.
okay.
Like it would be crazy
Mm-mm.
stuff.
So what I've heard in my school is they steal different fraternities animals. So I've heard a turtle getting stole from a frat house or a dog getting stole from a frat house. You send the pictures, it'd be in the paper, like literally be in the red and white. I mean the red and black or whatever. But I've never heard a mascot get stolen at my PWI.
Yeah, that'd be like real stuff. You know what I mean? We don't
Yeah.
really do that at HBCUs. Like, we not about to go kidnap the Morehouse tiger. Like, we not going to. They don't have a real tiger, but there's a dude in a costume. We not about to go steal
Hmm.
Grandpa and Denise. They went and stole the bear head, right? Which I think that's
Yes.
that's innocent fun. That's real innocent fun. I could
Hmm.
see somebody trying to find out where what I mean, the rival school's mascots mask head is at and stealing
Yeah.
that. And that's all in fun. I'm not stealing nobody animal because that animal die or that animal bite somebody. It's like too much of a liability. You know what I mean? Not rocking with
Hmm.
that. But
I Googled
I would
it.
have did that.
UGA's
You Google.
bulldog was, yeah, their bulldog was stolen last in 2016.
Yo, I ain't
It
gonna
was
lie,
stolen
that's
from
low
the
key.
apartment where it lives, and it made it
That's
all
a
the way to the
rush.
AJC. Please,
That's
I
a
don't want no part
rush.
of that.
That's a rush. You be over there just taking pictures, petting the dog living his best life. You make sure
He's
you already had
nice.
a dog in a little bed, and you treat the dog like a king, but you taking pictures the whole time, which you put the dog inside your clothes, your school clothes,
And walk out with him.
and take some pictures. You know what I mean? You take some pictures,
Put
and
him
then
in
you
like
just bring
a
after the
Georgia
game.
Tech hoodie.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Put them in a Georgia Tech hoodie. And then the day after the game, you just bring them back. Like, you just kind of
Yeah. No
near the
harm, no
apartment, you
foul.
just leave them in front of the door. But we got ring cameras these days. You got to put the little poo shiesty mask on and then ring the doorbell and run. You know what I mean? I think that'll be lit. Dog safe. It's all good. You know what I
Harmless
mean?
fun. Catch a felony
It
over some
was, it
harmless
was,
fun.
these days, people too sensitive,
I
man.
was
Just,
thinking
man,
the
deal
same
with it.
thing. Yeah. Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
bring it back. A felony, man. It's a felony
I think
because
it's
it's all in
dope.
good.
I think it's dope that her grandpa was like in on it. That she had that moment with
See,
him.
I thought it was hilarious that he said, "Don't tell Denise," and Denise was like, "Don't tell my grandfather," like, because those are like the expectations, right?
Yeah.
Like, you never know your people until you like pass a certain threshold. So she
Right.
held her grandfather on like high regard, and he
Hmm.
knew that. He said, "As a grandfather, I gotta make him think I'm a certain way." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I felt like that was pretty dope. Like, I felt like them having a moment of him saying like, "Yo, I'm always proud of you." You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to ever think I'm not that. And for them both to steal the mascot, it was kind of shady how they let Dwayne Wayne kind of take the fall for it in the end. You know?
I mean, he did his part. Do you feel like what was the age that you like crossed that threshold with your parents where you kind of felt like you met the
um,
expectations or maybe it changed for you?
I think when I graduated college, me and my dad, we was able to have our first drink together. We was able to kind of really talk, as adults. And I was
Hmm.
able to see just like another side of my dad where it wasn't like he kind of was able to let his shoulders down of I did my job. We're both out here as like men. It's not like me and my son and I'm on protection mode, right? It's more like we out here, we chilling, we can have general conversation, we could talk about
Yeah.
anything, that type of stuff. I've always been real tight with my dad. Don't get me wrong. Me and my dad has always been my dog. Like, super tight with my dad. But I felt like it went to another level after I graduated. Like, there's moments of my dad telling me he's proud of me. You know what I mean? He's proud of me and my brothers and how we grew up and the men that we have become. And like I can go home to Connecticut tomorrow and be like, "Hey, Dad, let's go at the bar." And my dad like good with it. Like, come on, let's go. You know what I mean? It's not that. I think that opens up something bigger.
Yeah.
I still don't do certain stuff for my mom. Like, my mom is the grandfather. Like, my mom is like, that's my mama. Like, watch your mouth. You know, like that. Watch what you say. It's my mama.
Yeah.
Like, she still holds that innocence with me. You know, like I typically watch how I say certain things around mom. My dad, all out. He a big boy. We all out. We talking trash to each other. Me and my brother, that's the one thing we could do. We talk junk. My dad a call. And our family calls, my mom be like, all right, fellas, because we end up just start talking trash to each other. Like, this is what we do, you
Mhm.
know? What age were you?
Um,
Still
so I
daddy's
think
little girl.
that no. Um, I was thinking about my mom. You're talking about your dad. I was thinking about my mother. And I
True.
think when I turned 20, when I became a mom, I think me and her start to have a different relationship. You know, I think that she saw me more
Is
as a
it because you
woman.
saw things different or she saw you saw something different?
I think that I think that she saw me differently. You know, once I became a mom, she just felt I feel like I don't want to say she was never like proud of me before, but the things I had to endure becoming a mom and then like pushing through, I had to really change my lifestyle. You know, I was a college kid that had a baby. So like I had to work differently and I had to people viewed me differently. I was going through a lot. And I feel like my mom, being a single mom of my little sister, I feel like we understood each other more. And when I look back on my family, I'm the only, my cousin recently got divorced, but I was the only single mom in my family. People on my mom's side, and
Mm,
my mom was the only single one of her generation. Everybody gets married and they stay married forever, and that's who they have kids with. So me being a single mom, having a kid out of wedlock, all the things, my mom could relate to what I was going through, and we became very close. Thinking about myself being a mom, I feel like me and Gabrielle just reached that place when she turned 20. And I don't know what
mm,
happened, but I'm trying to get upset because, you know, I can't have those moments with my mom anymore. Um,
mm.
but my baby moved into her first apartment in January. You know, she moved to her first apartment. She's been consistently working at the same job, you know, for months on end. She pays her own rents. You know, we went to Jamaica and she paid half her way. Like I opened my eyes one day and I have an adult child. Like she's a legit adult at this point. And it's not because she turned
You,
20. I mean,
you
you know what
touched
I'm
your
saying?
purse and said, you touched your purse and said, the money's still there. Oh man, girl, I'm so proud of you.
She planned it. She
Like
was like, "Mommy, I want us to go
you
on a trip
doing that?
together, and I'm gonna pay for, you know, I'm gonna pay my way." And
Yeah,
I
that's
said, "All
it.
right, let's do it," you know. And when we got
Yeah,
there, I
that's
wasn't covering everything. You know, I had my little broke best friend got a little job now. You know what I'm saying? And then the fact of her deciding to join my organization. I never pressured her to join. We never, it's like, she knew she had two choices. I'm just gonna be 100. You know what I'm saying? But she has aunties in every organization. So she could go whatever way she wanted to. There is a sister that I see as my sister in every organization. So she had
I,
options. So it's humbling to know that, you know what I'm saying? It's
and
just
I
something.
can say I've been around for all of the stages of, of Gabby, of come get your niece, I'm about to kill her, to, it was it I've been there for a while. So I can't say, it's good when something like that just clicks, right?
Right.
And like for Aaliyah, we're not necessarily there yet for Aaliyah, but we are. Like Aaliyah's high school, her is way different than the middle school her, right? So like
Mhm.
middle school was a little sketchy. It was like, dang, girl, we need you to get together. High school, this girl's lit. She just kind of she with it. Like she knows the assignment and she gets to it. I don't never have to like really yell at her about it. I think it went from yelling to now we're just having conversations and she has a sense of understanding and she fixes it quick. So like I think as time goes on, another 4 years, she'll be in college. We'll be rocking another conversation, it'll be another stage, and then she'll graduate, and then we'll be rocking another stage. So definitely dope. What is something that you feel like you have told Gabby, right? Because we're talking about legacy. What is
Mhm.
something that someone told you that you passed on to your child and you feel like she will
Mhm.
pass on to hers? And that's a little curveball, right?
It
But
is
yeah,
a little
yeah. Like
curveball. Let me see something that I've
thinking about
gotten
thinking
that.
about legacy, everybody has something that, and what like why you thinking about that? I can tell you, like my grandfather always used to say, "Prepare for today to live for tomorrow," right? And my dad has always had that aspect of things. Like, man, look, you got to stay a step ahead of everybody. You always got to stay a step ahead of the next man in order for you to get what you need, right? And I tell that to Aaliyah all the time. I'm like, hey, look, you got to be on it. you got to be
Hmm.
better than the next one. You know what I mean? In order to get the things that you need. What is something you feel like you have passed on to your young one?
So the person that came to mind is my granny, my dad's mom. Like I mentioned, me and my grandma were really close. We talked every single day of college when I went away. Every single night. If I didn't call this lady, she was waiting up to hear my call. She used to tell me that my education was important because I couldn't let a man define who I was. Now, my grandma was born second, third generation from slavery. And she was a stay-at-home mom, basically. She was a nanny to all the people and all the things, but she didn't actually have a career and work. She was a mom. So it was important to her that her kids and her grandkids had a leg to stand on, you know what I mean, when we went off in the world. So I've explained to my daughter that she's got to define who she is before the world defines her for her, and that she has to make
Right.
sure that she's not being dependent on who she's with to determine who she is. And my grandma taught
Word.
me that lesson, you know. Um,
Hey,
I
your
hope
name
that
is
my
all you
kids
got.
carry that. Name is all you got. Like, and your gender
That's
shouldn't
dope though.
define, where you are. So,
That is a dope lesson to teach. Especially
yeah.
Gabby. That's a dope lesson to teach her because these kids these days are so impressionable, you know.
Hmm.
So
It's
I
a
get it.
double-edged
I get
sword
it.
though, because my child, she a little mean. You know what I'm saying? When she's talking to these little boys, she can be mean, a little cutthroat when it comes to them because she doesn't have to tolerate a whole lot, but I still want her to be humble and kind. But she don't take a whole
Right.
lot. This little boy she's with now, I really like him. They've been rocking it. They were friends for a long time before they started dating. So she thinks he's gonna be the one. We're gonna see. She's
Yeah.
been humbling
We'll see.
herself
Like,
a little
we'll
bit to
see.
him. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. It's still only a few months in, but we know he's been holding on stronger than the people who came before him. So I love that
Yeah.
she's not gonna find herself in her relationship. So when something does end, she might be hurt, but she's not devastated. She's not completely broken. And you know what I'm saying? She can pick herself up and see what's happening after that.
You know,
I like it.
what I noticed these last two episodes been real Denise heavy, right? Like they've been real
Hmm.
like these last two episodes been real Denise heavy. And I think I'm ready for these next few episodes to come up, because I think they do that before they transition to something new. And I'm ready for to see what's new, that what's coming up. Um, I think I'm excited like Homecoming, right? So let's
Okay.
you want to move into to this homework?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. All
We,
right,
we lit.
so Hillman fam, we talked a lot about homecoming traditions and legacies. So we want to hear from y'all. We want to hear what your favorite homecoming tradition is. Let us know if it's a HBCU or a PWI, and if you have any family legacies or unexpected expectations that are put on you from your family. I shared that, I got a little legacy in my sorority. My daughter decided to follow my lead and join the greatest organization in the world, the first service sorority, period. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I'm really proud of that. We don't have any college legacies, but I do have that legacy. And your baby's in band that's following your footsteps,
Yeah, yep,
right?
yeah, she's in band. She's good. She plays clarinet like her godfather. So,
That's what's up.
she gonna be doing some big things, man. Shout out to Aaliyah, shout out to Gabby, doing their thing,
They are
you
our
know.
legacies. They're us. You know what I'm saying? They are the next generation,
Wow.
and I'm excited. I mean, that's all I got for you. You ready to hear my quote of the day?
Yeah, what is the quote of the day?
All right. So there was a moment in the closet, the supply closet, where Denise and her grandpa run into each other, right? And she asked him,
Yep.
like, why are you here? Why, like, what is this? And he was like, I always wanted to do this, but I never had the gumption to do it. I had to Google gumption because I had never heard that before. But basically, he was saying that when he was in college, there was things that he wanted to do. There were dreams he wanted to follow, but he didn't have the courage. He didn't have the nerve to do it. But as an old man, he saw that there was an opportunity for him to make those things happen. So I challenge you, Ray. I challenge our listeners to just go for what you want. Go for that thing that you really wanted to do. This podcast is one of those things for me. I really want a podcast, and I have started several over the years, and we're finally making this happen. And it just
Right.
brings me joy. You
That's
like my
dope.
line?
Okay.
Thank you.
I like that. I can feed into that, right?
Okay.
Because dealing with her grandfather doing some things, we talking about legacies, you and
Hmm.
Gabby, being Aaliyah. My song is It Takes Two. You know,
It takes two.
it's, It Takes Two. It's by Rob Bass and Easy,
Mm.
right? So Easy Rock, my bad. 1988. It takes two to
Okay.
make a thing go right. Look it up. Super dope, right?
I like it.
So that is my song. And sometimes it does, right? In order to build a legacy, it got to be more than one, right? It has to be
Mm.
it has to be a second person. You can't just do it yourself and say, "Oh, it's a legacy." Nope, somebody else got to do it, and then somebody else has to do it, and somebody else. So you're building. We built the legacy, and it takes Gabby. She's continuing the legacy.
Mhm.
Aaliyah, she's in band like I was in band. She's continuing that legacy of us being in the band and things to that extent within music. So yeah, it takes two, man. Look it up. Dope song if you've never heard it.
That's hot.
Yeah.
I really like that song. That was real good. The first when you said it, I
Right.
thought of Will Smith and his son. And I was like, what song? But then when you start to sing the
Just the two
song,
of us.
yeah, I was thinking of that song first. It Takes Two is a hot song. It's good.
Yeah,
That's
it's
real
a
hot.
hot song.
I like
It'll
it.
get you out your seat for real.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Hillman family. We that's gonna wrap up our episode seven. Seven's the number of completion. I'm so excited to be here. So, as always, remember, words have power. Make yours count.
Right. And like a good beat, man. Keep the vibe going and let the music play.
Peace.